female lionesses.
Look at those nipples.
That face, the burning for the
And we're back to another day of control. So today is the control upper body day. I'm going to go over a couple of things. It's pretty much the same thing as your control lower day. The only difference is, one thing I wanted to point out is the bench press that you're going to be doing differently than a regular pause bench. Welcome to the Spoto press. For those unfamiliar with the Spoto press, it's a pause bench press that you're doing an inch or half an inch above your chest. So you'll see right here, I zoomed in a little bit. You can see when I do the rep, it's not actually touching my chest. But everything else is the same, your form is the same. You're just pausing right above your chest. Spoto is an amazing bench presser. He has, I think, a 727 bench. So this is definitely a credible movement to add to your workout. I started with 205. Just dropped 20 pounds from my working set and figure I'd just go up 5 pounds from there. I'm going to be honest, the Spoto press actually feels really good. It doesn't feel like a regular working set, but yet you're still doing a pause rep that can really help your movement. From locking out, getting it off your chest. When it comes to my own weaknesses on bench press, I think it's probably a couple of inches off the chest where I start to struggle. It's not really the lockout. I look at bench presses as 3 separate movements. You have the initial off the chest, you have that middle area, and then you have the lockout. I think my problem is in that middle area when I'm doing this. So I started using wristbands because my wrist had a problem where it was really in pain this week, and I had to use wrist wraps, and it definitely felt a lot better. I was getting like a tennis elbow feeling, and it was really painful and sore when I was doing these bench presses. And for some reason I was sick today, really sick today. Stuffy nose, felt really hot, but I was feeling really good in the gym when I started working out. So that's always a good thing. I'm actually ordering wrist wraps as well, so they probably coming in next week. I'm just borrowing a friend's wrist wraps right now. I want to do a separate video on my form. I imagine some of you might be asking, like, why am I putting my feet up and then doing all that extra movement just to get on the bench? I might do a separate video on that. It's also the powerlifting form that I'm trying to kind of get myself used to. I never actually did this, but there'll be something else I'll get into next time. So same thing, 6x4. You're going to move on to rows. Rows is also a 6x4. This is actually one of the optional back movements that you can do. You pretty much choose your own back movement that you want to do the pauses with. I personally chose rows only because I usually add rows to my working sets anyway, on my heavy days. So I kept 165, did pause reps, 6x4. You want to be able to tighten that back, those lats, when you're doing these rows. And I don't know how other people do it. I know some people do underhand rows. I personally do overhand rows only because I feel it works my back a little bit more, and it's a little bit more comfortable too for me. But you can feel free to add any other back movements as you want for your control days. You can do lat pull downs. You can do even dumbbell rows. Pretty much anything to your preference. This is why I love Candito's program. He basically asks you to do your regular compound movements, your core movements, and then you can pretty much do whatever you want. And I think that's the important part about choosing a program and really fitting it into what you like to do. It's never fun if you're going to the gym and doing a program that's not really getting you excited for the next day. So I think it's important to choose something that you really like doing, choosing movements that you like doing, and then going from there. With the overhead press, just do a quick warm-up. You're just only doing one set. It's a 1x10. Obviously, you're going to drop down the weight a little bit. I just decided to do 125 by 10. And it felt alright. So it didn't feel that heavy. I definitely want to be able to do 135 by 10 eventually. But we'll see if that day will come. Alright, so now my other optional exercises, I added in lat pull downs, just to do a quick set of it. And then I also did close grip bench, which I believe always helps with your bench press. So I think it's definitely important to add that in. Whether or not it's on a control day, whether it's on a regular heavy day, definitely add close grip bench press as your supplemental workout. So I started off with 195. I thought I would be able to do it, and it was surprisingly hard. It felt really heavy and taxing on my triceps. So I decided after this one, I said, hey, I'm going to drop it down. You're supposed to do 8 to 12 reps of this, 3 sets. Obviously, I was only able to do 7. So that's when I knew I needed to drop it down a little bit. Look at that spot right there. Now, just a note on spotting. I think it's so great to have someone who knows how to spot. And when I say someone who knows how to spot, I don't mean someone who grabs the bar and racks it for you at the first sign of struggle. A good spotter is someone who sees that you're struggling, but is going to just help you push through that rep. Whether it's just by touching the bar with 2 fingers, whether it's slowly helping you, giving a little lift. But I think it's important for a good spotter. The difference between a good spotter and a great spotter is the fact that they know when to actually help you and not to help you finish the rep without you actually trying for it. And you see right there that I almost died, right? The bar almost fell on my chest. So that's when they really needed to rack the bar for me. But other than that, a great spot is someone who actually lets you finish that rep, but at the same time, they're slowly helping you push through that rep. And most of the time, I'm going to be honest, when you're struggling with a rep and you can't get that last rep in, it's really more of a mental struggle, not a physical struggle. Because I know there are so many times just having someone stand behind me makes a huge difference in finishing that last rep. So I also added in a few cable flies, shoulder flies, just really quickly. I like the little burn that I get on my shoulders and deltoids. But feel free to always change this up. You can always add your own optional exercises. This is just something I personally like to do. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have any questions, feel free to comment them, subscribe, and share these videos as well. I'll be continuing to upload these so that you guys can follow my progress. Until next week, see you guys later.
Very